Government Contractors Association. It's good to have all of you here with us tonight. It is a challenging time for our nation, for our country, as it relates to all the different natural disasters that's going on out there. But at the same time, if we look in the middle of chaos, there's also opportunities. And so that's really what we're looking here. How do we help our friends, our peers, our community rebuild? And that's really the heart of why we decided to do this class here. So for all of you joining us, we're glad that you joined us. And I got my other partner in crime, Guy Burns, just joined. So Guy, can you help monitor people that are joining late and add them in? That would be awesome. Okay, so with that, I can start and have peace now. So it's always great to have partners in business, partners in life, partners in everything we do. So guys are a really key part of my life and what I do, and to the small business community, the contractor community at large. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and dive into disaster recovery in terms of contracting opportunities. And anytime a natural disaster happens, the first thought is we want to make sure that everybody's safe. But after that, how do we help that community rebuild? And where are the opportunities for you as a business owner, as a contractor in the government space? So that's what we're going to be covering about tonight. Again, my name is Abraham. I'm the founder of the Government Contractor Association. We are here as an organization to support the small business community, the contracting community, helping you connect to government agencies, helping government agencies connect to small businesses. We've done this here. We've trained over 12,000 businesses, helped business win over $1 billion in government contracts. So that's kind of what we enjoy doing day in, day out. But tonight, what we're going to be covering is how much money is out there for disaster relief work. And then we're also going to look at which agency are managing these projects here. We'll look at that. What industries or which industries and services are needed the most. And we'll look at how you can register and take a piece of this pie, that's the opportunity that's out there. And then how to find recovery related opportunities for your business. So we'll cover these topics tonight. I've already put, you can download here, but I haven't updated the latest document here. So use the link if you want a copy of tonight's presentation, use the link that I gave you here. So at this time here, I'm going to take off my hat. We're going to give a few seconds of silence to all of those that have been impacted, the friends, the neighbors, the community. So we're going to have a moment of silence for our community here. Amen. All right. We've seen a lot of devastation all around the world, but specifically for many of us who live here in the US, we've seen a lot of disaster here. This year alone, 15 natural disaster events, over $1 billion. Now, there's a lot of natural disaster, but what I'm counting here is I'm counting that year to date, there has been 15 events that have caused devastation of $1 billion or more in terms of losses, in terms of claims, in terms of economic losses and so forth, property losses. So you're talking about in all over the West Coast, all throughout the year from January till September, there's been drought and heat wave. You're talking about the Western wildfires. From spring to about right now, in the southern area, there's severe weather, in Texas, in Mississippi, Louisiana, severe weather there. We talk about in the northern area, there's hail, lots of weather issues there. In the southeastern, tornado outbreaks and so forth. And then more recently, just less than a month ago, Hurricane Ian and Hurricane Fiona went through Puerto Rico. Ian went through a great part of Florida. I have friends and family that live down there. I called to check up on them, and most of them are fine. They're rebuilding their lives down there. So you're talking about 15 natural disaster that has caused over $1 billion or more. Tonight, we're going to focus on mainly just Ian, but that is just the use case of what I built tonight's presentation around. But you can look for opportunities all throughout, not just in Florida, but all over the country. And if you are, for some of you who specialize in recovery for those that's been impacted, communities that's been impacted, the sky's the limit really for you. The opportunities for you to go help the community rebuild, help a government, help the community rebuild is tremendous. And if you are here just kind of curious, you should probably go do natural disaster recovery work also, because it's not slowing down. This is a really wide open, as you've seen here, a testament of this here. Now, there is another website that you want to look at. This tracks all of the natural disaster around the world. So I'm going to take a quick second. I'm going to go and look at this website so you guys can kind of see a little bit of what we're talking about here. Again, if you want a copy of the PowerPoint, just go to the link that's in the chat area and you'll have access to that website here as well.
Are you looking to grow your business? Well, there are 3 key markets for every business to consider. B2C equals business to consumers. B2B equals business to business. B2G equals business to government. Most entrepreneurs start their companies in the B2C or B2B markets. Less than 5% of businesses are in the B2G market. Business to government is the sale and marketing of goods and services to federal, state, or local agencies. If you're looking to expand your business into an untapped marketplace with the potential to land millions in government contracts, then you'll want to watch the rest of this video. Each year, government agencies award nearly $2 trillion in contracts to businesses just like yours. Here are my top reasons why you may want to consider selling to government agencies. 1. The federal government awarded over $500 billion in contracts annually. 2. State and local municipalities awarded over $1.5 trillion in contracts annually. 3. The federal government issued over $550 billion in grants annually. 4. Small business certifications will allow you to win sole source contracts with no competition. 5. Government buyers must purchase from small businesses, which are called set-aside contracts. 6. Large prime contractors must subcontract approximately 35% of their federal contracts to small businesses. 7. The average federal contract is worth $180,000. 8. Contracts valued at less than $250,000 must go to small businesses, known as simplified acquisition procedures. This is a short summary of why you should consider selling in the B2G marketplace. If you're interested in learning more about how to expand your business through government contracting, then you'll want to attend one of our upcoming classes. We host classes to train businesses on how to navigate the government market. Join the next upcoming class at www.govassociation.org/events.
So this website here, you look at this here, these are ongoing right now around the world. And I'm not talking about last year, I'm talking about what is happening right now around the world, all these different natural disasters that's happening. So all the way in Africa, in Cuba, in the Caribbean, South America, Central America. So this site gives you a little bit perspective. Fortunately, in the US, there's nothing ongoing right now. So you can come in here and track any live natural disaster that's happening. And whether you believe in global warming or not, I don't care. And whether you do believe in it, I don't care. What I do know is that lots of disasters happening. And for you and I, what we do care about is how do we help the community rebuild? That's really what we care about here. So come take a look at that website. But we're going to continue. We're going to be going in and out of PowerPoint slides here because there's a lot of different places I want to show you guys tonight. So let's look at what's happened. Historically, these are some of the biggest natural disasters that has happened for a while now. And on an annual basis, on average, $28 billion per year in terms of devastation, if we track back all the way back to 2008 or 2005. And so if you look at this here, there's a lot of different challenges that's happened. $28 billion is the average. And let's look at what's really happened as it relates to Ian. There's been about 119, in terms of the last check that I looked at, 119 loss of life from Ian itself. Combined with the other natural disaster this year, 340 in the US, for a total of 459 lives that have been lost due to natural disasters. In terms of people missing from Ian, still 658 are unaccounted for at this point here. And so we just don't know what's happened. No one has been able to find out. Welfare check has not, in terms of someone doing a welfare check, they have not been able to verify whether these people are fine or they've been reconnected with family. And then in terms of total damage from Ian, we're looking at about 96 billion this year, or actually 96 billion total for Ian. 67 billion is going to be covered by privately insured agencies. And then 29 billion is in terms of all the different natural disasters that's happened here. We're going to look at what the federal response is here in a second. From economic loss perspective, they're expected about a $22 billion loss in the state of Florida, which is about 2%. Florida, go ahead and put in the chat area. In terms of the 50 states, let's do a quick poll here. In terms of the 50 states, tell me, where do you think Florida falls in terms of the GDP? Is Florida number 1 in GDP, or is Florida number 50 in GDP? Or where does Florida fall? Between 1 and 50, where do you think Florida falls? I'm curious to see if you guys know. All right. So Florida, if you haven't responded, Florida is number 4 in terms of GDP at $1.1 trillion. And so it's a huge economy in terms of this country here. Now, when a natural disaster happens, the most immediate help that a community needs is power restoration. That's one of the first things, right? What we saw was that 2.5 million customers in Florida went without power at the peak of the devastation. 44,000 utilities workers around 33 states have been deployed to go and support the relief work in Florida from a power restoration perspective. Currently, FEMA, and this number is increasing every single day. It was just 300 million as of 2 days ago when I double checked these numbers here. FEMA has allocated $420 million to help the immediate survivors and the immediate community itself, the people there. And some of that is going towards transitional shelter. So they call it the Transitional Sheltering Assistance Program. That's where some of that $420 million is going to. They supported 1,256 households and covering their hotels and motels. In the past, there's been some trailers and some other type of short-term housing. But after Katrina, we learned a lot from that. And so FEMA does not necessarily look for, in terms of trailers as a short-term solution, because after the use of it, then where does it go? And so they learn from that. And so right now, their first goal is to put these families into hotels and motels in neighboring communities that was not impacted. So if you have friends or family that have hotels and motels, they need to check into the FEMA program, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit to see how they can be a part of that there. And then the other part of immediate help is there's some specific local programs around this disaster recovery centers. And you can find out more here. Florida disaster.org is one of those websites there. Now there's other types of support for the immediate communities, unemployment, reemployment assistance. You can find more information about that at floridajobs.org. There's also workforce development and economic development grants out there, small business assistance. Go to floridadisaster.biz. And the SBA also has a site that you can go to as well for small business assistance. Small business assistance from the SBA, there are lending programs. There are loans to help your business if your business was impacted and there's loss, or your business is permanently shut down from it and you want to rebuild. There's different type of very low interest, really friendly programs, loan programs, and some grants also. There's the EIDL grant as well. The EIDL was initially, some of you have used it for the pandemic, but there's also EIDL for natural disaster use cases as well. And then there was tremendous job opportunities. FEMA have deployed 4,000 federal response personnel to Florida and the Southeast, and they're looking for more. So there's opportunities. If you have friends or family who says, hey, I've been impacted and I need a new job, or the company that I've been working with, it's out of business. And so this is a great way to get reemployment, is through directly with FEMA itself as well, and through insurance adjusters, and that's another opportunity there. So how much money is available in terms of tied to end? $67 billion is supported from private insurance. $33 billion right now is a bill in Congress that is being championed by Marco Rubio, saying that, hey, we need to allocate $33 billion for the state of Florida for the recovery effort. And this passing is very highly likely. It will pass. Maybe more than 33, maybe a little bit less than 33 billion, but there's not going to be a lot of opposition in terms of this $33 billion that's been allocated, that's been requested for the state of Florida. And so what this means is that this is money that's going to go to the needs to rebuild. And if you, as a business owner or as an entrepreneur, and you have a product or service that can help the rebuild and reconstruction process, some of your opportunity is going to come from this $33 billion from federal funding, which is going to flow through state, counties, and cities. And then for the $67 billion that's going to the insurance, some of those opportunity is going to be with the homeowner or with the business, and the insurance company do have some direct work as well. The federal funding is going to be managed in this way here. About 50% of it is going to be managed by FEMA and the Army, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. That's about 50% of the funds going to be managed through these two main. Now, there's other agencies as well, like Homeland Security and a few other agencies. But the bulk of it is going to be managed by these two main agencies. 50% of it is going to flow to the state and the counties and then the cities itself. So you're looking at FEMA and Army Corps Engineers, as well as the state, the counties, the cities, where it's the money is flowing to. So what type of opportunities? We talked about the insurance, right? Insurance opportunities with insurance company, directly with the business and the homeowners. So those are opportunities. And then the FEMA, as well as Corps of Engineer and state and local agencies. So these are the places where you want to look for the opportunities. And we're going to dive deeper into this here in a second here. But for you as a business owner, you want to follow the money, right? How does money flow in this type of situation? Money normally flows immediately to existing contract holders. So for example, FEMA has 5-year contracts for certain type of work. And so, and it could be up for renewal. It could be not quite up for renewal yet. There's different, there's different type of contracted vehicles out there. But the first is going immediately to the contract holders, those that are already registered to do work. Another is going to prime contractors who already have relationships established and so forth. It's going to go to GSA schedule holders. GSA schedule holders is usually also the first wave of how agencies going to look for support. And they're going to use other contracting vehicles as well. And we're going to dive in deeper here. So what are the type of products and services needed in this situation? So immediately, there are going to be some immediate needs, which is going to be done through emergency clauses. It's not done under the normal FAR regulations, the Federal Acquisition Regulations. There's a normal procurement process. They have to do a market survey. They have to do put out a solicitation. Someone submits a proposal, they review it, and then they choose a company. Under natural disaster emergency regulations, FEMA can just tap you on the shoulder, award you a contract, and it's done, because they use different sets of regulations for a disaster-related type of work, and it can be done very quickly. Certain type of things that's done very quickly: debris removal. After a natural disaster, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to restore power so that there's power to the community. They're going to make sure that they're going to look for people, save lives, right? Those are the most immediate thing. But shortly after that, I'm talking about simultaneously, really simultaneously, they're going to start to remove the debris so that the roads can be more accessible. They're going to find ways to get over waterways. So that is some of the first thing. And then also stabilization, such as shelter and housing for hotels for the community. And then logistics support and trucking and hauling. And then water, right at the time immediately after Ian, 10 million bottles of water was shipped to the community there. And then meals or canned goods and other MREs, 4 million meals was immediately sent to the communities right as Ian impacted the communities there. Other types of products and services. This is a little bit more following the disaster, a little bit more long-term needs. They need building, renovations, mold remediation, new construction. They also need furniture replacement, technology installation. Some of the early things is communication. I forgot to mention that in my slide here. But along with power, they need communication. They need technology to be back up and running in terms of Wi-Fi and internet and so forth. So those are some of the early things. And then they need to rebuild infrastructure in terms of water infrastructure and land infrastructures and roads and bridges. All that is part of the infrastructure of the community. And then they also want to plan for capital improvement long-term. Now that this community has been impacted, what have we learned from this here? And what can we do to be better prepared for the next event, the next situation? Some sample opportunities: consumable medical supplies, durable medical equipment, portable potties, concrete repair services, armed guard services, because many of these locations here, they may be without power for a while. So there's some immediate need for guard services, as well as call centers, bilingual call centers. This was really important in Puerto Rico because the Spanish is highly used down there. And so to get the support to the community, they needed a bilingual call center. Levy, work itself and that type of products, camping equipment, tents, chainsaws, transportation between one location to another. Other products: spaghettis, meatballs, ravioli, canned goods, tuna, cases and cases and cases of this stuff here is needed. green beans, corn kernels, and mixed vegetable, pear fruit cocktails, peach slices. Again, these are usually cases. And so, for example, green beans, 14,000 cans of green beans is needed, and so forth. Now, what are some long-term things that's happening? So, of the $1.2 trillion funding that was approved about 6 months ago, 5.2 billion has already been approved for Florida. So of that 5.2 is being allocated for different projects. 100 of them have already been identified, but $5.2 billion is to help rebuild the infrastructure in Florida. And some of this will probably be reallocated to support the disaster relief itself on top of the $33 billion. So this is another $5.2 billion that's available for the state of Florida. And this is to do with bridges, public transportation, lead pipe replacement, different things in Florida like that there. So who's handling these contracts there? I mentioned this here earlier. You've got one of the regulations that was passed, the Stafford Disaster Relief Emergency Assistance Act. When I say that under FEMA regulations, this is the regulations I'm referring to, is the Stafford Disaster Relief Act here. And based upon this here, they don't use the FAR, and under this act here, they have a local company preference. What does that mean? For some of you, you're 8A certified. Some of you, you're women-owned certified. There's a set-aside program for those that have certification, and some contracts has a 8A set-aside preference. Some contract has a women-owned certified preference. Well, as it relates to natural disaster, they have a local company preference. So how does that impact you? So let's assume that you're like William. William, I assume you guys are based out of Tennessee. And if you're based out of Tennessee and you're trying to do work in Florida, it may be to your advantage to find a company that's based out of Florida, because that's in the community itself. So why is that important? Because the FEMA says they have a local preference. You're out of Tennessee, you want to find a company that's based out of Florida, and some of them they don't know the government market, or they may be a renovation company, but they don't understand disaster relief work. And so you want to team with them, let them be your teaming partner as a local preference. Then you can get into in terms of the disaster work. And this is like you coming in from outside, you haven't done any market research, and you're just like, hey, I want to quickly get into this here. How can I support the community? The fast way is work with a local company, especially a local company that don't understand disaster relief. They have the technical skills, they don't understand contracting, or they don't have the fully capable capability right now because of what they've gone through the natural disaster itself. So teaming with a local company, this is a great strategy if you are not based in the area. Now, obviously, FEMA, the Army Corps of Engineers, Homeland Security, they work with companies that's not based in the area, because they have a local preference, but they also understand that local companies may not be registered in SAM. Local companies may not be, they may have been so devastated that they can't do work. So the local preference, just like in a women set aside, that doesn't mean other companies, there's no opportunities for other companies. That just means that's a segment of opportunities. The bulk of opportunity is still open competition, but this is that preference there. And then FEMA is going to be key to a lot of this here, as well as Army Corps of Engineers and Homeland Security. The other area that you want to look for is you want to look through GSA. GSA is like a third-party government contracting organization. GSA is not a government entity. They were created and sanctioned by the government, but they themselves act on behalf of the government. For example, The IRS is not a federal agency. The Federal Reserve is not a federal agency, even though it has the word federal in there, it's not a federal agency. These are organization that is sanctioned by the government, but they act separate from the government. And so GSA is pseudo-government, IRS is pseudo-government, Federal Reserve is pseudo-government. So GSA, whereas the IRS is, they were created for the purpose of collecting taxes on behalf of the government. The Federal Reserve was created to monitor and create monetary programs and stability for the U.S. and creating printing money for the U.S. Right? Whereas GSA is the organization that was created to handle contracting for the government itself. GSA has two main arms. GSA has the contracting arm, the FSS, Federal Supply Schedule, which we call GSA Schedule or GSA Mass Multiple Award Schedule. So that's one arm of it. And the second arm of it is called PBS. Quick quiz time. What do you think is PBS? Now, it's not the public building system, I think, public building service. What do you guys think? What does PBS stands for? And PBS is a very important agency for many of you who's doing disaster work. Anybody? Oh, you guys are asleep. You guys, no one's paying attention? Okay, all right. So let me just wrap up tonight's meeting. This is a relationship here, so stay engaged with me here. All right, public broadcasting. Nope, not that one. PBS. PBS is a very important agency.
We got private business segment from TJ.
Okay. All right, so PBS is Public Building Service. So GSA has two arms. One arm is Public Building Service, one arm is FSS. Public Building Service, GSA is one of they manage a lot of federal buildings, a lot of federal, they administer all these different real estate, all these properties that the government utilizes, whether they rent these properties or whether they buy these properties or whether they have someone build and lease back. I've seen 10-year contracts, 20-year contracts where the government says we want to lease a building and GSA is managing those there. So why is GSA important? Well, GSA, because they manage all these different government facilities, any government building that has been impacted by any natural disaster, GSA is responsible for restoring those buildings and putting people back to work in those buildings there. And so they're going to look for either companies to go and do restoration at those facilities. They're going to look for companies to go out there and find new leases and so forth. So opportunity with GSA in many different ways. What I want to really talk about is GSA from you finding businesses that have GSA schedules already. If you don't have a schedule, then you want to find companies that already have a GSA schedule and you team with them to go after these contracts. Some of these companies that have GSA schedule, they don't understand disaster relief. They may be a construction company, but they don't understand how to do construction work as it relates to natural disaster. So I'm going to come in here. We're going to look at this list of businesses that already have GSA schedules. So this is the contractor list. And if you're thinking like, I want to find some companies I can team with, this is your list here. Thousands of companies in here that already have GSA schedule. And so if you just need a teaming partner, this is your list right here. Lots and lots of companies in here. So where else? HUD has opportunities. HUD has a website called hud.gov/info/disaster resources. And then the community development block grants, they have a site that you can go and look at as it relates to block grants related tied to HUD. What are some opportunities there? And then if you're looking for a SBA loan. SBA maintains a disaster assistance website as well, where you can actually go and look for how to apply for a very friendly business loan to help your business recover. As well as if you're trying to grow your business and you're doing work, your business haven't been impacted, but SBA has some guaranteed SBA loan program as well, and micro lenders that's supported by the SBA as well. Opportunities also lies with insurance carriers, right? And we said that the bulk of it is going to be done through insurance companies, and so 67 billion is done through the insurance company itself. So some of these insurance carriers maintain a contractor list. You want to go ahead and sign up to be with some of these insurance companies, and then the bulk of insurance companies, though, the money will flow from the insurance company to the insurer or to the policyholder, and then you will work with the policyholder itself. So that's one way to do it. Other type of disaster contract opportunities, you want to find prime contractors, and because these prime contractors, they need to work with small businesses. So let's look at this here quickly. There's a few different sites that you can go to. This is one of the sites here, and I'll show you another one too. When a large company, when they win a contract over $750,000, the federal regulation says that they must subcontract 35% to small businesses. So if you're a large company, then you have to create a small business program and work with small business contractors. If you're a small business, then you want to find these larger companies that are winning contracts, and you want to be a subcontractor to them, because the regulation says that they must work with small. It's not they should work with small business, or they may think about working with small. No, the regulation says that they have to meet the requirement of subbing out work 35% of it to small businesses. So these are companies that have listed themselves as, we are looking for small business to work with. And you can see name, email here, what type of work they're looking for: engineering services, environmental lab services, fire protection engineering, surveying, and so forth. They tell you what their NAICS code are, or the type of work that they're looking to partner with. Facilities, mission insurance, threat mitigation, mission support and sustainment. So take a look at this here. And this person is the person that you want to engage. So Mark or Chris Remote or Remont, and this is the person you want to engage in. Now here's a technique when you're emailing Chris. Let me show you the wrong way to do it. So the wrong way to do is, hey Chris, or dear Mr. Remont, my name is Abraham Shong, and I'm a small business. We're women-owned, 8A, and through the federal regulations, the regulation says that you must work with small businesses, and 35% needs to be subcontracted out to a small business like mine. And I want to be that small business for you to subcontract work to. That's not the approach, right? You don't sell yourself because you're a small business. You don't sell your 8A to these companies. You don't sell your women's certification to these companies. You sell what you're good at. You sell what sets you apart from other small business. Certification does not set you apart from other small businesses. What sets you apart is the services that you provide, the value that you provide. And so when I'm engaging a larger company to try to do work with them, I don't start from that perspective. What I do is, like, if I'm going to email Chris, first, I'm not going to use his last name. I'm going to just say, hey, Chris, and my subject line will be upcoming opportunity, or natural disaster opportunities in Florida. And I will find a project that he and I can work on together. I want to lead with the opportunity for his business to work with my business, I'm not going to go and put my hand out and say, hey, give me some of your work that you have. Because everybody's doing that. Everybody is asking for a handout from their large company. What you want to do is you want to take food to the party. You want to take your own beer to the party. Don't just go crash a party, be empty-handed. They're going to kick you out of the party, right? But when you take food to the party, even if they don't know who you are, they can say, hey, man, Ruben, welcome to the party. Sit down. Let's hang out. And so you want to take food to the party. You want to take an opportunity and say, hey, I found this opportunity. I've already engaged a contracting officer. I have a relationship with them. But this type of project, I can only do 50% of the work, and I'm looking for a teaming partner to do the other half. That's usually how I engage. Even though my goal is to be a subcontractor to them, that's my goal, but that's not what I lead with. I lead with what they're interested in. I don't lead with what I'm interested in, right? And so for some of you who are single, the way you find a soulmate is don't be interested in your own needs. Find out what they're interested in and have a conversation around what the other party's interested in. All right, enough dating tips there. Let's get back to our slides there. Oh, so this is one, right? So these are companies that's listed there. Let me show you another list. SBA prime contractors list. So this is another list here. They update this here about once a month, and it's done through an Excel sheet, so it's easier than the other lists here. And I'll put this link in the chat here, so if you haven't searched for it, you can just quickly pull it from the chat. Saves you a little bit of time of searching for it. All right, so now I have this list. Oh, where did my list go? Here it is. These are companies that when they win a contract, if it's a large project, the government requires that they identify themselves to the SBA that they are a prime contractor holder and that they need small businesses. So this is that list there. So I can come in here, I can filter it through any of these things here. I can filter it through a NAICS code. So somebody type in your NAICS code, your primary NAICS code to the chat. So there's a few numbers you want to remember when you're doing government work. You want to memorize your primary NAICS code. You want to memorize your UEI number. As you do this here, you can gain credibility, right? So if you're talking to a contracting officer and they're going to say, hey, Van, it's so great to see you here. Give me your primary NAICS code and let me see. I'll look through my list in terms of upcoming forecast project that I could send to you. So you want to know your primary and your UEI number. All right, so we got one person in here. First one was 423-430. Okay, so let's look at that. So I'm going to come in here, NAICS code. I'm going to uncheck everything. I'm going to look at 423-430. So I'm going to check 423-430. I want to see of these prime companies, which companies are winning work in the field that I'm in, or in this situation, the field that Brian is in. All right, so here are some companies that is selling computer peripheral equipment. And so I'm going to come back over here. And these are the companies. So let's look at, there is a total of 31 companies. So these are all potential companies that you can be doing subcontracting work with, or they can become your mentors or many other different things. So this is another list of companies that can become great partners to your organization. I think there's a question here that says, I'm confused. You are suggesting approaching prime contractors about new opportunities to partner, but wouldn't the prime contractor already have a project they are working with? Yes. Prime contractors already have other small businesses that they're working with. They already have contracts that they're already bidding on. Your approach is you don't want to go to these companies and say, hey, I saw in the SBA prime contractor list that you want a contract for computer peripheral equipment, and I want to be a subcontractor to you on that project. That means you're going to the party and you're asking for them to give you you're crashing the party without taking it to the party. My suggestion is that's really what you want. You want them to sub you some work, but don't leave with that. You leave with, hey, I have a new project and I'm interested in us working on that together. And so I'm gonna share a quick video for you. And I want you to watch this here. Let me see here. So this is a quick video. It talks about a young lady who she won her first contract. I think it was about $13 million. And she was not the prime, but she found the opportunity. She helped write the proposal. She did all of that. So this is an interview of Tiffany Bailey. This is a video on Tiffany Bailey, and she shares her story about how she got her first contract. She has zero experience, zero past performance, but she won a $13 million contract. And what she did was she took an opportunity to a larger company, and they said they weren't quite ready for it. They had other projects they were focusing on. And she said, well, how about if I write the proposal, I use your past performance, you are the prime, I'm gonna be your sub on it, and I would do all the work. And if we win, you guys are the prime, you do 51%, I do 49%. So that's how she won her first contract. Yeah, I believe it's $13 million. So I'll put this in the chat and go listen to her story so you understand the technique I've been teaching you here a little bit more. But that's a very good question. Sometimes you have to take one step back to get 2 steps forward. All right, so how do you prepare for disaster work, right? Don't chase for work. You want to prepare for it. And you also want to make sure that you're registered with the right agency. For many of you, you're in SAM already. If you are a small business, you need to have a great DSBS profile, and your website needs to speak to government buyers. So I want to take a quick second. Any volunteer here, I'm going to do a quick critique of your DSBS profile. And I'm going to give you some tips on it. And I will say 70% of the time when I look at a profile, there's usually some improvements that needs to happen. So if you want to be a guinea pig, put in there your DUNS number or your UEI number in the chat, and then we're going to use your company as an example, but you're going to get some free help here, and you're going to get some practical help. So any takers? Put your UEI or DUNS number in there. We're going to do a quick DSBS profile, making sure that you are properly set up.
Yeah,
All
TJ
right,
was
so-
first. His number's in there.
All right, so I see Ruben in here, so thank you. Let me take your UEI number and we're gonna quickly review. Now, if you have a perfect profile, that's even better, but at least everybody get a chance to kind of quickly see what I'm talking about here. So dsbs.sba.gov is the site. You come in here. This portal here is the portal where you can find all the small businesses to team with. So I'm gonna put in your UEI number here, and I'm gonna hit search. Part of being this, if you want to do contract work, you gotta be contract ready, right? So that's just part of it. Okay. All right, so we got CSP Management LLC, Service Disabled Vet. minority, small, disadvantaged, made up of team veterans and federal industry professionals, 80 years of experience. You guys are like 20 years old, man. How are you guys going to have 80 years of experience? All right, so good stuff. So we deliver actionable acquisition insight, factory floor to the front line. We are your contract manager, responsible for ensuring federal acquisition programs, supplies, services delivered on time, within cost, and meet performance requirements. Okay, so it looks really great here. Let's dive in. This site is always slow. So when you come to this site here, always be patient. Always be patient. All right. So we come here, we see that you're active, registration is active here. You've been around since 2013. I'll move my camera out of the way so I can see all this text here. This is important, where it says, do you accept government credit card? Most businesses say no. So you guys did the right thing here. You say yes. Why? Because they can do a micro purchase. They can swipe a credit card. There's so there's all types of micro purchases that can be done through credit cards. So always check yes here. And then there's lots of different options out there in terms of credit card options out there. So always check yes here. All right, so you list out some of your owner certification status there. You guys aren't 8A yet. Is there a reason why you guys haven't gotten to the 8A program, Ruben or Van Hong? I know you're on here too, but
Ruben's holding back.
I'm
We're in
not
the
ready.
process.
I'm not ready.
You
I'm
guys
gun-shy
are more
on
than
that.
ready, Ruben. What are you talking about? You guys.
Thank you. That's what I've been telling them.
Oh Lord, and this is in public now. Okay.
Yes, you guys are ready. So if you're doing good right now, get your 8A. You guys can be doing spectacular. So you do have your hub zone. That's great. There's two main reasons why you want to get your 8A certification. Number one is sole source contract. Just so that all of you who are small business owners right now, the sole source threshold just got moved from $4.5 million to $8 million. So the ceiling now is if it's less than $8 million and you have the trust of a contracting officer, they can award you a direct contract. And this is outside of Stafford disaster type of FEMA regulation. This is just regular contracting regulations here. So $8 million. So that's a very good reason to go and get your 8A certification as well. Okay, so non-federal certification. So CMBE, CDBE, that's good. Capability narrative. This is another area where some small business make a mistake at. They don't list out the capabilities narrative here. You guys did that. You put some keywords in here in terms of what you guys do. You start off by creating trust, right? You're saying, hey, we're a veteran-owned business. When a contracting officer looks in this database, they want to know if you're a veteran-owned business or if you're a minority-owned business and so forth. If you're talking to a prime, you don't lead with this when you're talking to a prime. At the end, you're going to say, oh, by the way, we're a SDVOSB, right? You say that as an afterthought. But on this profile, you want to lead with, we are SDVOSB. So that's good. And then you go into the type of work that you guys do. So that's good. Keywords, bad boy mowers. Ooh, okay. Sounds like an industrial strength mower there. That's Princeton Surgical Medical stuff. Okay, so you guys got some good keywords in here. Pharmaceuticals. Okay, good. Construction, manufacturing, research 25. So you guys, all over. Bonding, you have a bonding capacity of $1 million. Aggregate per is $1 million. Aggregate is another $1 million. Your bonding can go up. One way you can increase your bonding is by actually having a mentor, and then the mentor extending their bonding capacity to you guys. So that's another way of how you increase your bonding capability. And then there's also bonding companies Bonding companies, any project that's over $100,000 at the federal level requires bonding in the construction industry and so forth. If it's less than 100,000 in construction, then it's at the discretion of the contracting officer. So your bonding is a key component of how you grow your business. What you want to do is you want to look for a bonding company that does SBA guaranteed bonds. That way that they're more likely to increase your threshold because it's supported by the SBA. And the event that there's a default, the SBA is guaranteeing the bond there. So look for a bonding company that does SBA surety bonding and performance bonds and so forth. You get your primary NAICS code, pharmaceutical, and then you guys do many other different things. Okay. Oh, wow. This is like a long list. Okay. This is one of the longer lists. So you guys do computer services and you guys do cemetery services. So that's kind of unique. That's unique. I would make a suggestion here. For example, I know you want to do cemetery and crematory, but if you're not doing that on a regular basis, I would remove that. I would shave this down to maybe about 25, 30 true NAICS code that you're consistently bidding on. And then in the event that you find a project that is crematory related, then at that point, go back into SAM and add it. And then and it takes 3 days for SAM to update your NAICS code. So this way, when you're talking to a contracting officer and you're trying to build trust with a contracting officer, right? And the contracting officer, you're trying to go in there and do computer training. And you're trying to create trust with the contracting officer, but then the contracting officer sees that you do cemetery and crematory services as well. That creates confusion. No business can do all these different things. Now, you and I, we're on the same page. I understand why you're doing it this way here. Because you understand that in the government market, it's not about doing the work, it's about winning the work. So I'm with you in terms of the strategy that you've taken, but it creates confusion. It doesn't create trust. So I would fitness and recreational sports center. If you do that on a regular basis, yes, put it on there. If you don't do this on a regular basis, I will leave it in until you find an opportunity that you feel like we want to bid on that project. And then it takes 3 days to update it. My suggestion, again, no right or wrong, but you have to put yourself in the eyes of the contracting officer. And when they see your profile, they see that you're all over the place. It doesn't bode well from a trust perspective. They may feel that you are all over the place and that you're not going to do a good job for them. So just food for thought, no right or wrong. Again, just my own personal opinion here. But I love your thought though. What you guys have set up as a type of company that you set up, that is the right strategy there for long-term growth. Okay. So good stuff. This is great here. This is another mistake that small businesses make. They don't put their references here. And so you guys did great here. You put your references here. Okay, so overall, I think the only major thing I have a recommendation on is reduce your NAICS code to about 30-ish. And then all the other ones, but overall, you guys did a great job. So you guys look contract ready, you look FEMA ready, you look Corps of Engineer ready. So that's good. Thanks for allowing me to use your profile as an example here. So appreciate that there. All right, so let's continue here. When you're registering in your SAM profile, many of you check no under disaster response information. You want to go back to your SAM profile and make sure under this here, under where you go to the assertion part, it says disaster response information. Do you wish to be included in disaster response registry? You always want to check yes. And then if you check yes, it's going to ask you in what geographic area. And you want it like down here, geographic area, you want to put nationwide, you want to put everywhere. And so this is how you get to register to do natural disaster work, where a contracting officer is going to see that you want to do disaster work. And so make sure you check yes in here. Some of you check no, but go double check your SAM profile, make sure you check yes here. Okay. Also, GSA has a natural response designation. And so I'm going to look at this site. So, and I want to look at it from the perspective of an agency. If I look at this site here, it gives us that perspective. So let me go in here. This site here is speaking not to you as a contractor. When you're on this site here, GSA is speaking this here to agencies and to contracting officers. But if you understand from their perspective, then you can understand how to prepare your business to fit into the scenario here. Right? GSA provides assistance to federal employees, vendors, and the public. So GSA Advantage disaster relief. You want, GSA again is the main contracting arm of the government. So you want to go read their website here. And you want to go and spend time on here and study. And this is the type of products that they're looking for. Cleanup and rebuilding, electronic and power equipment, emergency and rescue, food and cooking supplies, medical supplies, personal care hygiene, personal safety protection, security control, temporary housing and shelter, vehicle equipment, services. They need building and construction, communication, food services, energy power, environmental services, furniture, law enforcement, right? So now you start to see, okay, what is it that GSA is really looking for? They give you their list of what they're looking for. So if you're trying to look for opportunities as it relates to from GSA's perspective, this is what they're, now this is not a complete list of everything they need. This is just a partial list of the immediate things that they need. Come back to this site, go read up on GSA Global Supply. You want to go and get a GSA Emergency Acquisition Basic Ordering Agreement. So study up on how GSA work as it relates to disaster response. Then you can prepare your business to do work how GSA do the work itself. Emergency Acquisition Basic Ordering Agreements. These are some, they call it QMA. And then what you want to do is right here, master contract participants. You want to go and look at this list. These are the companies that already have a QMA here. If you're looking for teaming partners, you're not on GSA yet. These are the company that you want to partner with here. And in some ways, they're your competitors to some degree, but in the government market, I look at it as co-opetition, right? They're not really competitors. They're co-opetition, meaning it's friendly competition. But at the same time, they're a competitor, but they're also a teaming partner. These are companies that say, hey, we want to do disaster-related work. Now, seeing this list here, you can use this list here for a few things. Let's assume I go to, I'm going to just, this is Noble Supply. Yeah, this is a pretty big company here. So Noble Supplies. If you're trying to become a successful company, you want to study not all of these companies are successful, but you want to study these companies and see what they're doing right? So I'm going to go to Noble. And I'm going to model if I'm trying to be a successful company, this is a successful company. I'm going to come and model what their website look like and what they say on their website. And Noble's global supply chain was designed to support U.S. military and government worldwide. We have over 13, we have millions of products from 13,000 suppliers. Well, how many suppliers do you have? Right? So this is a successful company. Now, let me come back to Excel sheet, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take their DUNS number, and we're going to go see how much contract awards they have. Anybody want to guess? Put in the chat here if you want to guess how much contract awards does that Noble do every year. Any guesses? Okay, 20 million. All right, I like that guess. Hundreds of millions. Okay, yeah, that's a good guess too. It's I guess it's in between there somewhere. That's my guess. $487 million in last year, 2022. So if you want to grow your business, this is a good benchmark company, right? You want to come and you want to study this company here, what we do, who we serve. They do global supply chain, logistic, mission support technology. And I think, yeah, Ruben and Van Hong, this is really a little bit of what you guys are trying to model. So this is a great company to come and model after, because they do everything, kind of like what you guys are doing. But they speak to the government very well. So I think you guys are doing awesome at a starting point, but continue to model after successful companies like this, sir. FEMA Industry Liaison Program. Let's go to this site here. And let's study this site here, see what we can learn from it and what you guys can. So this is FEMA vendor profile. So you want to be registered in SAM, and then this is, if you want to come in here, create your profile in FEMA, this is where you come and do that here. So come in here, fill out this here, and then you'll be on right here. They actually put Hurricane Ian, Fiona, and others. So if you're interested in supporting FEMA as it relates to Ian, then you would check, I would check all of them, right? I would check even other and name other disaster. Like there's some disaster work that's happened 2-3 years ago, and there's ongoing work still. So I would check other as well and list some of the more recent, or like 1 or 2 years ago that you want to go and support as well. So you definitely want to be in this database here with HUD. If you have certification, check all of the ones that apply to your situation. Whatever type of commodities that you provide, check all of those as well. And then you can list other things here. So this is a very, very important website for you to come register in. You need to be in SAM first. This is a supplemental site that you want to be registered in, this site here. Again, take this PowerPoint and all these links here, because the links are very long. So once you have the PowerPoint, then go through these links here one by one so you can spend more time on it and study those sites a little bit more in detail. Some other places to register to do government work or directly work tied to the state of Florida. You want to go here. If you're not already, this is great for you, Julie and William. You guys want, if you're trying to do work, remember I said money flows from the federal to the states and then to the counties and to the cities. So what you want to do is you also want to be a vendor in Florida if you have not already registered to be a vendor in Florida, because that's where some of the money is flowing to. That $33 billion that's a bill in Congress right now. When it flows to the state of Florida, you want to be prepared for it by already being a vendor down there. So you want to come in here and click register, and then start your process here. If you want to look for opportunities, when you come in here, if you want to look for disaster-related opportunities, just like sam.gov, you're looking for federal opportunities for the state of Florida. You want to come here and search for advertisements. And then put in, they use commodity codes down here. They don't use NAICS code. Every state, every counties, they use their own methodology and so forth. So I don't know if, I'm not sure if they use NIGP codes. Ruben, do you know, since you guys are out of Florida, do they use NAICS code or do they use their own commodity codes, or do they use?
No, they use their own commodity codes,
Okay.
which are different than other states. So
Yeah.
I don't know why they do that, but that's
Yeah, 32 of the states use NIGP codes. The rest of them use commodity codes, and none of them cross over. So
Right.
Washington State commodity code is different than a Florida commodity code. But 32 of the 50 states use NIGP code. So it's a crazy system.
Yeah, which they all should standardize. I'm not sure why, but like Massachusetts uses the United Nations codes, commodity codes as their commodity codes. So, all right. So you want to, if you want to do state contract work, you also want to be get certified as a DB program company. If you have the qualification, if you're a women-owned or minority-owned business, you qualify for the DB program. You do that through the FDOT or Florida Department of Transportation. This is that link to it. Some of the local agencies, they use the Certified Business Enterprise, or CBE. And then some other local counties in Florida uses the SBE, the Small Business Enterprise. And then if you want to do work for commercial related natural disaster work, you want to go and get your MBE. And that is done through the Florida Minority Supply Diversity Council. And this is the link to that there. And so come and start your MBE certification here. And there's also, you know, different type of certifications out there, but I want to kind of quickly give you a quick overview of some of those certifications. In Texas, you can register to be a vendor in Texas with this link here. Texas have the hub certification, which is really cool. Most states you get the DBE, and then you have the county certification, you have the city certification, and so forth. In Texas, they just have the hub certification. And so for one certification, you actually qualify for state, counties, and cities, which is really cool because most states should adopt a uniform certification like this. Now, this hub certification is not the same thing as the hub zone certification. Hub zone is for federal contracting. Hub certification is for the state of Texas and counties and cities in Texas. Like Houston uses hub. The city of Houston, I think Houston is also a county. I'm not sure. No. Anybody know the county that the city of Houston is in? But they all use the hub certification. And many of them have veteran certifications at the county. Yeah, Harris County. Thank you, Kelly. So Harris County uses hub certification. City of Houston uses hub. State of Texas uses hub. Georgia, you want to be in the DOAS. Anybody want to guess what DOAS stands for? Department of Administrative Services, right? Oh, Kelly, you're born and raised there. Awesome. Oh, the site is, they changed the site. Georgia Team Marketplace. I'll put a new link in there. Yeah, so they changed the site here. So you want to go to the Georgia Team Marketplace here. Come in here. If you want to look for state contracts, if you want to come in here and register to be a vendor in the state of Georgia, Georgia Procurement Registry, click on that link there. and then takes you in here. So that's kind of how you do it. So I'll update this link here. Puerto Rico, this is the link, but I'm going to share with you how to do it for any counties or any city. So the secret is go to your favorite website, Google, and you want to put in the city or county name and then put in the word vendor registration. This is one way, or you want to put in there doing business with the counties or the city. So let's do a quick example here. If I'm going to do business in Hawaii, or let's say Alaska, or Anchorage, right? Anchorage. And then I want to put in here vendor registration. I want to go to Anchorage because I want to go do some salmon fishing up there. So if you put in the city or county name here and put the word vendor registration, it will take you to where you need to register. So the Purchase Department self-registration site, this is the link. General vendor registration, this is for the downtown area. I think this is for their main site here. But yeah, within the first 2 or 3 links here is the right one. If you want to do work for a county, Harris County, Texas. And then it would normally take you to where you need to go. So you guys get the idea. Now the other word you might want to do is doing business with. So instead of putting in their vendor registration, by putting in doing business with, it works the same way. Vendor registration is a little bit more direct. Also doing business with works as well, but not as direct as vendor registration. Other places, to find opportunities, SAM.gov is the main one, FedBid as well. And then there's also different forecast websites that you can go to. Look at this one quickly. So this is Homeland Security. They maintain this website here. You come in here, look for different type of forecast opportunity that's coming up. There's about 734 right now. Fedbid.com, which is they were bought up by Unison Global, but you can still get to it through Fedbid.com because their main site is kind of long here. So to look for opportunity in Unison or FedBid, you have to be registered in SAM, and then you want to come in and then connect your SAM profile into a Unison, the Unison Marketplace here. Unison Marketplace is where agencies come and they publish their opportunities in here for usually $215,000 or less. This is the portal you want to come to. If you're a small business and you cannot handle a $5 million contract yet, start off with some $100,000 project, $250,000 project in the Unison Global Marketplace here. And this is a reverse auction site, just so you know. And reverse auction means that you're bidding against other companies and the lowest bidder wins. So if you're selling IT equipment, or if you're selling some generators, you come in here, they're gonna put in here that they're looking for 2 generators, and then they usually will, some of it will tell you the model number. Some of them would just say, hey, we just want, here's a model number with specs. It could be this model or it could be equivalent. If you see the word equivalent, as long as similar to that in specs that has the same type of output, then you're okay. If sometimes they will specifically only want a certain brand, then in that situation, you have to give them that specific brand. They do services and they do products on this site here. So this is a great place. I haven't logged in about 4 months. And so my registration, you have to renew your password every 3 months. And so right now I don't know my password. So it's going to take a few minutes to recover my password. So I'm going to keep on moving. But you guys get the idea. GovGenie is another place you can find opportunities. GovGenie.com. and there's many other places out there. So I put in here some different resources. You can go to the Florida Marketplace, go to floridadisaster.org. You can go to Louisiana, Georgia. All these are different places where you kind of go and look for different type of opportunities out there. I'm gonna come to the Florida disaster here. Florida Disaster.org Division of Emergency Management. So this is kind of like Florida's version of FEMA. And you can come and look for, in terms of support, if you are a member of the community that needs support, you come and look from it from that perspective. And you come in here and look for different type of opportunity as a contractor as well. So take a look at this here. See how it fits your business. If you have friends and family that's looking for a job, FEMA have contracts with two main companies right now, two main contractors. One of them is Vanguard and one of them is WSP Inspection. And so if someone's looking for work as a FEMA inspector, it's done through these two companies here. So you want to go use these two websites, come in here and go through the recruiting process. They pay about, on average, about $35 an hour for, and sometimes they pay per inspection. So let's see here. It tells you a little bit down here. Says that if you are a novice inspector, meaning you have done less than 500 inspections, they pay you $39 per inspection. If you are more experienced, they pay $44 per inspection. And if you're seasoned, they pay $50 per inspection. So they would deploy you and you will go and do the inspection work itself. And then usually there is a process that will train you on how to do all of that there. There are some things, per diems, that they will reimburse you on, airfare, lodging, and mileage, and all that stuff. So that's that company, and this is the other company. Feel free to look through these companies here. And there's other resources as well. Disasterassistance.gov, Houston Disaster Center, lots of different resources. The Army Corps of Engineers. Let's take a look at this one. I thought this one's pretty interesting. So let's look at this one as the last one we look at here, and then we'll open up for a few minutes of Q&A here. Contracting disaster. This is a point of contact. Okay, so vendors interested in subcontracting opportunity with Hurricane Ian, such as temporary roofing, should directly contact the prime. This is a very important technique here. So S&M Associates, they already have the FEMA contract tied to hurricane. And this is the other company, Tomco Enterprise. So these are the two main prime contractors. And this is very important for a few of you that say, hey, I want to go and do some work, but man, I'm not on a 5-year contract with FEMA right now. Or with a Corps of Engineer. These are the two companies that you want to reach out to. Now, I share this technique with a company. They're brand new, no experience, no nothing. These two guys were real estate investors. They wanted to do government contracting work, and they got started. And so I was teaching them about how to do disaster recovery work. And this is back in 2018. And I said, hey, Hurricane Maria just went to Puerto Rico. Reach out to the prime contractors. They found the prime contractors. They reach out to the prime contractor. The prime contractors say, hey, we need all the U.S. company that's registered in SAM, as many as we can get. And if you guys are willing to come to Puerto Rico and set a shop down here and do work, we want you guys to do work. So they went down there in a matter of about 6 months. They did about $1 million worth of recovery work down there. So reaching out to these primes are very important. Let's go to their website. see what they look like. This is so this is a large corporation. They can handle strategic work many different places. So they got Biloxi, Mississippi headquartered, Dallas, Atlanta, and William. This is very important for you guys. These are the companies that you guys want to model after, because they have some of the. I know you guys have some history in terms of disaster relief work, but these guys are the current contract holders, and so they're in some ways they're your competitors. But again, in the government world, there is no one that is just true competitor. They're your co-opetition, right? You're always working with your competitors to do work together. And so I never treat anybody as an enemy. I treat them as a friend. And so at some point, you're going to do some work together with them. So this is who you want to reach out to and build a relationship with them. Tomco Enterprise, Camcola. That's the odd name. Yeah, their site is no longer up. So we have to look at their name. Their site is nowhere to be found. So they may be owned by a larger company, but let me go to LinkedIn to see what their new name is. Fort Wahnbe. Okay, so this one's out of Florida. Okay. Yeah, so their website is here. Hopefully it still works. Maybe their website is down. Okay, but S&M should be a good one. I'm familiar with them, so. Okay, so that's all we got here. I know we've covered quite a bit of stuff. We've talked about natural disaster relief work. For those of you that are newer in the government space, or those of you that say, hey, I need more help, we do have a training program. It's called our Certified Capture Manager program. So capturemanagement.org. I'll put the site into the chat area. If you want to learn more about how to, like tonight, I taught you a lot of technique around disaster relief. This is one angle of government contracting. There's so many other areas of government contracting. So this is a 15 weeks training program. Just imagine this class doing it over 15 weeks, all the other areas of government contracting. So that's what this program is for. It teaches you how to win contract. Capture management is the process of learning how to win government contract or winning contract itself. So that's kind of what we teach you. You get a lot of great tools. You get a business coach. You get accountability partner. You also do some testing at the end. You have to pass a test. So lots of different things around what we're doing here. So feel free to enroll into the class when you do have time. And we have a class that's coming up on November 15th, as stated in here. So if you're interested, come learn more about it at capturemanagement.org. So at this point here, we'll end today's session, and then I'll stick around for any Q&A. Any of you have specific questions about anything. If you need to go ahead and head out. If you have questions, feel free to stay afterward. I'll stick around for a little bit here. All right, so I think Ruben had a question. I'm going to the west coast of Florida tomorrow. I understand there are local government hiring and paying for debris removal. I need help. Okay, so if you can help do debris removal, talk to Ruben. We have, Ruben, you want to put your phone or your email down there? And put your phone number down there or your email so that people can reach out to you. All right, so Ruben's got his phone, his email down there, so reach out to them if you want to do some teaming work with Ruben and their company. All right, what's your question, Ruben? Just
my question is about here's what I gather from many contractors. We have a landscape division that we're doing landscape for multiple places, so we have trucks that can support some of that. Mm-hmm. as I understand it, so I'm saying this for the benefit of everybody. Right now, they're paying for debris removal about $450 to $500 per truckload. As I understand it, they just, with a grabber, they just dump the truck. So you basically have drivers is what is needed plus a truck. We are registered in everything that you said, the FEMA, the local Florida, we haven't been called. So what I'm doing is I'm hopping in a car tomorrow. I'll take in my capability statement for that debris removal, which is really what my objective is. And I'm just gonna find somebody who's gonna tell me, hey, this is what you gotta do. Because honestly, we've been researching this for quite some time and we haven't found an easy way to do it. When it's hands-on, when when you're going down there, ICS or the incident command system is the one in control. And we don't know exactly how to break that down, but I will be able to provide probably some feedback once I go there. And I was hoping that perhaps, Abraham, you have some ideas on what else I can do besides I got all the paperwork done.
You want to go to the prime. This is how one of the companies that I work with, I said, go to the prime who's already the contract holder. And when you reach out to the prime is going to say, hey, this is what I need you. These are the things I need, and this is how you can get plugged in with me. So the prime, the government will pay the prime will pay you guys as a sub. This is the fastest and the easiest way. So
Okay.
I would recommend going to the prime because the Corps of Engineers is saying this is who you need to reach out to, and then you reach out to this year.
Thank you. I already did since you were talking about it. I already sent the
Super.
But I'll
awesome.
keep you posted how I go once I go there and see what I'm gonna see and how this works. At least from the bottom up, and I'm doing it from the top down. So eventually, hopefully, we'll find something and share it with this group. 'Cause
Absolutely.
I'm sure that somebody can provide a lot of help, and I need the help.
Yes.
Thank you, Abraham. I really appreciate you doing this. Perfect timing.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. I have a friend at FEMA. In fact, she left FEMA. She was a CDC, but she's still a good friend of mine. If you shoot me an email, I'll do an email introduction to her and say, because she's not with FEMA anymore, so she can actually talk to me about FEMA stuff. If she's inside FEMA, it's kind of like, lips shut, can't really talk about it. But because she's not with FEMA anymore, and I can introduce you, build a relationship with her, and then just kind of pick a brain. She's good people. She'll probably have no problem, chit-chatting with you about her time with FEMA and some thoughts that she has. She was a contracting officer, pretty high up in FEMA. FEMA was too stressful for her. And so she left to go to the CDC, and guess what happened? The pandemic happened. And so she's probably just as stressed as the CDC.
I guess we got to follow her.
Yeah, stress just kind of goes with, well, that's why they need her, right? That's what she's there as a contracting officer. She's there to kind of, bridge the stress. So, but shoot me an email as a reminder, say, hey, can you introduce me to your friend that used to work at FEMA? And I'll be more than happy to do an introduction. And that's for any of you, if you're interested in different work, make sure you maintain your membership with GSA. That's what we're here for, right? Keep your membership with GSA active. We're here. If you have questions, if you have different things, we're here. Just shoot me an email. And if I have connections, if I have resources, I will do it. I'm more than happy to share it with you. So if you're not a member yet with GSA, please join. We're here to support you. All right, one last question. Any other question before we wrap up here? All right, I think that's it then. Well, hey, it's been fun having everybody here. Ruben, love your hat. You're ready for business. Everybody else, Van Hong, good to see you again. And many of you I don't know yet, so I'm looking forward to getting to know some of you here. Kelly, you're in Texas. I want to be in Texas. I love the state of Texas, especially now that the Longhorns is gonna have better football down there. So for everybody else, great meeting you, seeing some of you. Look forward to another class. You go to govevent.com or our website, govassociation.org. We have classes every single week. So this is just one class, but we have classes every week. I want to invite you to become a member, stay close to us. We're here to help to build the business community as it relates to the government market itself. So good luck, everybody. And remember, you are one contract away from all your dreams, all your hopes, and all the money that you want to go after. So take care. I'll see you guys later at another time. Hey, I want to take a minute to say thank you to our sponsors, GovGenie. GovGenie, stop wishing, start winning. GovGenie is on a mission to democratize government contracting opportunities for small women and minority-owned businesses. Their objective is to change the disparities for small businesses in the $2 trillion government marketplace. GovGenie is like LinkedIn for government contractors. It is a social CRM unifying the fragmented government procurement lifecycle and uses AI and ML to help users to socialize, foster relationships, find bids, search for teaming partners, manage proposals, source industry events, and facilitate the capture management process. This saves you, the user, money and time with one streamlined platform versus many other disparate software out there. Learn more about GovGenie at govgenie.com. GovGenie.com. GovGenie.com.